Hello, this is War Weasel. I'm back from a very long hiatus, but for some reason, a week or so ago, I just started putting things together, and I've been working ever since. So I guess my burnout is officially over. Right now, it looks like I'm doing all the same things I have been doing. I have normal character, opening doors, movement, ALS. I can beat up people. Yay. I can climb. I don't have shooting working yet, and I don't have pickups working yet, but everything else seems to be working really well. My animations are a little bit off, but that's just a bit of polish. Now, why would I bother to make a video about this? Obviously, I've done this before. However, there's a few things I've changed. One, well, okay, that's the one thing that doesn't work. Well, that and the valve. But I have the ability, I've turned these gates into two-way doors. So if I want, I can get back and pop it in there. But the major change right now is that this is an entirely gas-based system using the gameplay ability system from Unreal. And so I can do all sorts of interesting things. And this rewrite has far less code than it used to. And I wanted to go over a little bit of that. And then I have a bit of a special for anyone who sits through it. Right now, I have my, well, I started off with the gas ability component. They normally expect you to subclass that. And so I did. And I didn't really add all that much to it, but let's show you. The only thing I did was register attribute class. And what this does is it allows me to go in here, and this is probably one of the best features. So if I edit this, this is my character, so if you're curious. But we can go here, and we can take a look at the gas system, which is down here somewhere. Here it is. And I can actually select the attribute type. And this is a vampire character, so he has different attributes. I can select interaction abilities, and that does work. And I can even set the starting events, the abilities, and then I have the effects here. And this data table is actually kind of cool. This is my animation data table for the character. So all the animations that he can do, I can get here. And it's a nice place to keep it. I can share them. I can change them. It's a pretty slick way of doing it. The other major parts are the gas character, which is much more complex. It has a lot of functionality. For one, it has my ability system component, which I have to override for the the Ability System interface, and then I have my gas interface as well, which has a few things that I need. But like give ability and is player, allow movement, yes or no, get animation table, and a couple others like the interactable objects it's close to, I keep on the character now, and I handle all this in C++. The interactables, they have their own system here. Let's see. And it's pretty simple. Highlight objects, start interaction, end interaction. Those are just to update the character. And then anim notify sync, which is really useful when you're doing notifications. And then also, I think I have one that will... Nope. No, that's actually in the blueprints. But I have a bunch of events, so I can go to one of these objects and then say, you know, for interaction, let's see, okay, I may not have it on this one, but I have a list where I can register listeners, and those listeners can get an event when something changes. So when I flip the switch, I can turn a light on. When I open a door, I can spawn bad guys, whatever I want to do. And that keeps me from having to work in I guess, the level blueprint or somewhere else. Let's see, interaction sync. But the really cool parts is here in the ability system, and I actually only have one ability, which so far, and it's just my interaction ability, which means I can just give this to a character and it does a little bit of work. It asks the object if it can interact. If so, it gets the animation pair that works between the two, and then it runs them. We set the location here, if you can see it. Yeah, that's ugly. There. We have play montage and wait. And then we also have play montage on the other object. Let me clean this up. It's terrible looking code right now. It will get cleaned up, but mostly I'm just trying to show off what I have. But all this is a lot of the interaction code. And I can actually see the states. When they end, I can allow movement. Before I was using individual state machine objects, and I was jumping between them. And in that case, I had to remember where all my objects were. I had to actually chart out what object went to what object and what the various paths were. This is all in one place, and it's very simple. I can just come here and say, oh, well, after it plays montage, I allow movement again, and then I end the ability. So, nice and simple. Updates are handled in the montages. And so far, it's a nice, simple way of doing things. If I can say go to the door, I only have a few functions that do anything. I have this can interact, which returns what kind of animation. Right now I don't even bother checking it. They're all the same. I have the animation tag, which in this case can be either door open, door close, front, back, etc. Start location, and whether or not you can actually do the interaction, because sometimes I've turned them off. What else do I have? I have here's the gas interaction stuff. The notify sync, this is what happens. I have anim notifies in the montages. They call this, and then I can do whatever I need to. This is can interact, it's what we just looked at. End interaction, nothing there. Start interaction, also nothing there. Highlight object, very simple. All I do is I set the custom render depth so that my my shader can overwrite that. It's a post-processing shader. And then get skeletal mesh, which is about as simple as you can get. And that's all that's really required to get everything working outside of an animation blueprint, which is just necessary now. It's a little extra work, but there's very little in those. Actually, let's take a look at one. All right, here's the cupboard. And the update just says, okay, update whether or not the actor says it's on or not. And by doing that, you can see that it will open and close up here, but it's backwards. So here it will open and close because it's getting it from well, here it's just changing the anim blueprint, but it will actually get the data from the object itself, and on is the only thing it cares about. And then the anim graph is really simple. I use these as poses. They play rate of 0. So when it's on, I play the start of close, and when it's off, I play the start of open, and that's what makes it open or close. And on and off is just there, so it's consistent across everything. And then I have my slot, and this slot is where the anim montage gets played. Very, very simple way of handling interactions. As you can tell, I've kind of put a few up here, but all of these just have a nice interaction floor switch on, interaction object floor switch on. It's for the character mannequin. It's for the interaction object floor switch. Here's the, here's the anim montage for the character. I can add in sound and whatever else I need there. And then I can also, where was I? Yeah, I can jump here and I can show that here's my animation notify that gets fired. In this case, it turns on. When it reaches that, it sends an on to the character, and that updates things. Truly could not be simpler, and really it works the exact same way with my combos on these characters. I may have to do more later, but right now I'm just calling a montage on them, and it plays, and I think it works really well. Here, let's see this again. It's actually a lot of fun to play with. Everybody loves seeing guys get beat up. Ha! Take that. Yeah. And you. I only have one right now, so. You can tell that the weapon bone is not getting moved around, but that's just an animation issue. When I get everything working, then I'll work on animations. I love how the box just sits there. Alright. Nice. Like I said, you can do all sorts of fun things like climb, jump. Let's see, where's my... Here it is. If I need, I can do the rifle. Yes, I did change the rifle mesh. That looks really good. So I still have this. So everything's working really, really well. I kind of like open the drawer. Oh, forgot to get rid of the weapon. But I'll be doing pickups next, and then we'll work on that. But also like this character design better. But like I said, this is now a door. A door is really just an interaction object from two sides. I suppose I could keep adding sides, but I don't really need to. Also, I really don't need the need this climb. Because it just doesn't do anything. I mean, I can just climb like this. And it's much more controlled. But I'm going to keep working on it anyways. I have the animations. It may as well work. This is the problem child. I think I screwed up the mesh. But anyway, getting out of here, I've actually been... it was cold earlier last weekend, and I wanted to go out to the park because it looked so beautiful, and I couldn't. And so I just grabbed some stuff and went out to the city park here. Now save selected. And this will take just a moment. Okay, so here we are. And I just made a nice relaxing park for me to walk around in. Whoop. Okay. Bunch of fireflies caused by the post-processing. I just haven't taken the time to fix it. This probably looks terrible with compression, but this is just a nice place to run around. I haven't fixed the footstep sounds. There we go. If you remember this, if you remember the video where he makes GTA in, what, 48 hours or something like that? This is the same pack. There we are. It's really nice. You know, it looks like a park. It's very calming, very relaxing. I tried to make it nighttime. I'm not a good level designer yet. I don't think the sky looks very good, and way too much light. Have to adjust the LUT. You know, water doesn't work quite right unless you're Jesus. But there's just, it's actually just really calming to kind of walk around the area and explore and see what's in this very realistic park. Well, anyway, thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're looking forward to what I do next. I don't have time to give any tutorials right now, especially with something as complex as the gameplay ability system, or GAS. But using it has allowed me to restructure everything into a much simpler whole. And I'm able to keep much more in my head at once. It's just a real win every way you look at it. Now, hopefully I'll be able to give you some real updates soon, and have a great weekend.